Hello and welcome to this B1 Intermediate Lesson 55 with me, Kate. Today we're going to be looking at conditional sentences with would. In order to do that, we're going to look at a very well-known song, a song by John Lennon, Imagine. And here on the screen, I have the lyrics. I'm not going to sing, you're lucky, but I am going to read the lyrics. And I would like you to listen and follow at the same time. Okay, here we go. Imagine there's no heaven. It's easy if you try. No hell below us, above us only sky. Imagine all the people living for today. Imagine there's no countries. It isn't hard to do. Nothing to kill or die for, and no religion too. Imagine all the people living life in peace. You may say I'm a dreamer, but I'm not the only one. I hope someday you'll join us and the world will live as one. Imagine no possessions. I wonder if you can. No need for greed or hunger, a brotherhood of man. Imagine all the people sharing all the world. You may say I'm a dreamer, but I'm not the only one. I hope someday you'll join us and the world will live as one. Okay. So here I've got 4 beginnings of 4 sentences which are ideas expressed in the song Imagine. If there were no countries, if people didn't have possessions, if there weren't any wars, if everyone lived only for today. Now for each of those beginnings, I've given you 2 possible endings. I want you to read those and decide which do you think are actually true. So it's probably a good idea if you pause the video and then restart when you're ready. Okay, let's have a look. So if there were no countries, the world would be a better place. If there were no countries, life wouldn't be so interesting. What do you think? Okay, next one. If people didn't have possessions, everyone would be happier. Or if people didn't have possessions, life would be much more difficult. What do you think? Okay, number 3. If there weren't any wars, we would all have a better life. If there weren't any wars, people would soon get bored. What do you think? And number 4, if everyone lived only for today, we would enjoy life a lot more. Or if everyone lived only for today, there would be chaos. What do you think? Okay, brilliant. So we're looking here at some conditional sentences using would, and let's learn a little bit more about that. So the conditional with would is used to talk about imaginary situations. John Lennon's ideas were seen as dreams, which is why we see that conditional sentence a lot in his song. Conditional sentences with would are built with if and the past simple. If I became president, followed by would or wouldn't and the infinitive without to. So I would build more roads, not I would to build more roads. Okay. We use conditional sentences with would to talk about imaginary, impossible, or unlikely situations. The verb in the if clause is in the past simple, but we're not talking about the past. We're not talking about any specific time. If I had a ticket, I'd come with you. The implication here is that I haven't got a ticket. It's impossible or unlikely. If you lived in the countryside, you'd soon get bored. The implication here is that you don't live in the countryside. It's an imaginary situation. It is that we can change the order of the if clause and the main clause. For example, you'd soon get bored if you lived in the countryside. Or I'd come with you if I had a ticket. Or I would build more roads if I became president. And we can, in this instance, use were instead of was after I, he, she, and it. If my brother were here now, he'd know what to do. And we often use, if I were you, I'd to give advice. It's a good phrase. So if I were you, I'd look for someone else, for example. Okay, so your turn. Here I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8 sentences. I want you to choose the correct form of the verb to complete the sentences. Again, I think it's probably a good idea if you pause the video and then restart it when you're ready. Okay, let's see how you got on. Let's have a look at A. If there were no countries, there wouldn't be any governments or laws. If there were no countries, there wouldn't be any governments or laws. What about B? We wouldn't need policemen or prisons if we didn't have any laws. We wouldn't need policemen or prisons if we didn't have any laws. So here you can see that we've got wouldn't need, we've got the infinitive here without to, and we've got didn't have. So that's the negative past, which is why it's with the if clause. Let's look at C. If countries didn't exist, people wouldn't need passports. If countries didn't exist, people wouldn't need passports. What about D? Perhaps everyone would speak the same language if there weren't any countries. Perhaps everyone would speak the same language if there weren't any countries. E. If there were no possessions, nobody would need money anymore. If there were no possessions, nobody would need money anymore. F. If people didn't need to buy things, there wouldn't be any shops. If people didn't need to buy things, there wouldn't be any shops. G. Life would be very different if we couldn't go shopping. Life would be very different if we couldn't go shopping. And H. If people didn't own anything, what would they give each other as presents? If people didn't own anything, what would they give each other as presents? Well done, fantastic. That's it for today. I have a question for you, of course. If you could change one thing in the world, what would you change and why? Leave your comments below and start your sentence with, if I could change one thing, I would. Be really interested to see your responses. Please don't forget to subscribe. I really appreciate your support. And coming next, the final lesson in the B1 series, the focus will be will and would, and then you will be ready to move on to the B2 course. Well done. Thanks very much for watching today. Have a really great day. Goodbye.